now going to look at setting up this model to produce some sheets, maybe some views, stuff that you could potentially show a client for the first initial presentation stage. In an earlier presentation, earlier video, looked at setting up sheets. So down here in your project browser, it will show where all of that is. Here we've just done the initial first start of creating a sheet. There's certain things you can do to speed up how you place parts of the model on the sheet, or how you want to adjust your title block. So we could probably just touch on the basics for this today. So that's one that I've set up earlier. I'm just going to show you another one here. So this one hasn't been set up yet. Now I'm going to just select on that title block there and give it a name. I'm just going to call it floor plans for now, just to keep it as simple as possible. So, and the sheet number be A100. Sheet issue drawn by, and again these can all be typed in and changed. You can do all that sort of stuff here as needed, and it's going to be driving stuff here in the title block. So really basic stuff here, and then there's other things potentially with some title blocks you can edit in the background. So there's nothing available in that one there. Again, this is just the basic one. Now let's say you want to edit this one and reuse it as your own. You could go and create one from scratch if you want. You can make one with a Revit family. I'm just going to reuse this one and just edit it. It's it's a good title block to use. It's just a title block. So what I want to do here is perhaps grab all the text. So I'm going to select all instances in the entire project, and one of the ones that I like to use in the past was the ISO format. So the way we used to draw on drawing boards, and maybe I want the color of this one always to be navy blue, and maybe the size is a little bit big, so I want to drop the text size down a little bit, maybe to 10 mil, and probably the tab size at that as well. Now again, you can go and adjust all these as you see fit. If you want to show borders, you've got line weights. You can actually crank that up a little bit if you want. Background transparent. That's I think about all I really want to do now. Go apply, and that's now showing my text. Yeah, so the border's been showing. So depending on whether that's going to look right when it prints, when you photocopy it, you have to do some tests there. Here we can also see we've got display of thin lines or thick lines. Sometimes if you've changed some of these values, it will look a little bit different. Maybe for this one, I'm going to just make that text size bold. Let's bring it up a little bit nicer. Okay, project number, again, you can edit that once you're back within a Revit environment. Now these ones, these need to be edited as well. So again, I want to select all instances in the entire project and just change that to the format that I've got across this project. So the blue with the ISO, and I'd like to have that bold. Go apply. So I'm just going to do that with a couple of other items. So I just got this all sort of looking the same. Some of the stuff has intelligence in behind it, so you can get rid of this and put in your own logo. These items can be edited once you load them into the project. And then this one is your revision table. So it's actually like a schedule. So those are the schedule graphics which you can reuse. This one we'll come back to these, but this is something that could potentially be edited. I think I may have to go into the family type properties here and start to make some edits in here, or maybe down in here. So there's numerous things that you can modify. Here we go, revision schedule. So you can edit it from here. You may have templates and bits and pieces. So let's see what we can do. Here we go. So yeah, if you want to modify that, this is embedded within the text schedule. So where is it? So text, show title, body text. Looks like these are sort of the types we can choose from. What do we got here? So that's revision properties. This one isn't doing the thing. Let me just go see which one it's in here for defining the text in that title. So I mean, you can get the gist of where you need to go here to modify these. I mean, schedules is a whole another item to look at, but yeah, it's just something to be aware of should you want to get into it. So where is it? Description, format. Yeah, it'll be hidden away in here, but we're not going to be touching too much on schedules for this one. The last thing I might want to do for these lines here, these are more or less guides. I could go and change it to be thin lines, and maybe under that subcategory I might want to modify some of the information here. So under thin lines, they're black. I want them to be just a light grey, and go apply, and now anything that's a thin line will show up like that. And then for the title block, I'll just match properties of that. I'm going to get rid of this border here because I'm not really a fan. Just going to keep it really simple. So that's just the basics. Again, I didn't cover the scheduling. Probably need to get more into the editing of that under the where is it? Under here. So that's a whole other thing we need to look at. So for this one, I'm just going to do a save as. So just add it to your family library. So I'll just call it refix it, and I'm going to be pretty slack about where I'm locating this at the moment, just for demo, and then load into the project and close. Okay, so this is now available, so I'm just going to escape out of that. You can delete that now. It's like loaded into the database, and we can grab that one, and we can drop down, and our one is available here. So that's a quick workaround for doing the title block. And once we start getting into things like revision clouds, which is a whole another exercise, this title block will start to make sense. If you ever want to get into that, there's a whole thing on revision clouds, and then how you set them up here, and then I think under the view here you can tag the revisions, and then there's information more on creating title blocks from scratch. So let's go back to the floor plan one. So again, you can go and do that should you want to, or we can just grab that one and do the drop down. And we want to load some views into the sheet, so you can drag and drop them from here, or you can do it from here, and it will ask you what views you want to bring in. So really I just want the floor plans at the moment, so I'll just get the ground floor, and maybe not the reflected. I'll just get floor plan Floor plan level 1. Let's see if we can do that. Let me do it one more time. So floor plan ceiling. Okay, it's not letting me grab them all. Okay, that's just the other way you can bring them across. Things to line everything up. There's like this grid line tool, which can come in quite handy. So you could go and use that to maybe adjust your set out here. I think with that grid line, there's tools to adjust how you want that to be spaced out. So 20 mil, 50 mil, bit cleaner there. And here we could move some of these items perhaps to that grid line. So I want this one to be here. So that's just a simple thing here. And then, you know, that grid guide, it shouldn't print, but you can also just hide it in view should you want to, or set up a view template. So that's a simple way to bring in some of the stuff in terms of setting up your sheets. So what I'm going to do is just bring this in, clean up my sheet, and do a view template. And I'll do that in the next part of the tutorial. Just wanted to touch on setting up those title blocks and having a bit of a play around with some of these tools for sheet composition.